Chamberlin was born in Joliet, Illinois, one of 6 children, and is of English and Hungarian ancestry. His father and his older brother Paul were both active in jazz bands playing clarinet and drums respectively, and his brother Paul is still an active rock drummer with a local cover band Chasing Amy. Chamberlin began drumming at age 9. His early instruction included Latin, Brazilian, and big band techniques, but focused on jazz under the tutelage of future Yanni drummer Charlie Adams. Chamberlin left home at age 15 and joined a series of local bands, although his early music career proved profitable and Chamberlin's father pressured him into going to college. In 1994, Chamberlin revealed that he had been estranged from his father for 7 years. After 3 years with the show band JP and the Cats, Chamberlin, wearied by the touring schedule, quit and got a job building custom homes with his brother-in-law. Before long, he joined the Smashing Pumpkins. The Smashing Pumpkins were looking for a live drummer to open a show at the Metro, a Chicago club. Chamberlin and Billy Corgan met through a mutual friend, and Chamberlin expressed cautious interest. Chamberlin made tons of cash as a carpenter before giving up the job to move to Chicago and devote himself to the band. Chamberlin's entry quickly pushed the band toward a more powerful, intense sound. During this period, Chamberlin struggled with substance abuse. During the recording of 1993's Siamese Dream in Marietta, Georgia, Chamberlin often disappeared for days at a time into the drug underworld of Atlanta, while the rest of the band feared for his life. He later said of his drug addiction that it's pretty textbook. Guy makes it in rock band, gets very full of himself, starts thinking he's indestructible, and all of a sudden he destroys himself. In the midst of the lengthy world tour supporting 1995's multi-platinum Melancholy and The Infinite Sadness, Chamberlin's father died and his substance abuse hit a fever pitch. Of this period, Chamberlin later said, "I learned that escapism was better than emotion, and that's where I hid. It got to the point that I really didn't care. Life was scary for me." Prior to shows scheduled July 1996 at Madison Square Garden in New York City, Chamberlin and touring keyboardist Jonathan Melvoin overdosed on heroin. Melvoin subsequently died, and Chamberlin was kicked out of the band ostensibly to protect his health. Corgan later told MTV News that Chamberlin had already overdosed on 2 different occasions during the Melancholy tour prior to the July 1996 event, but that the band had managed to keep those situations private. In October 1998, Corgan convened a band meeting in which Chamberlin was reinstated as the group drummer, and the band decided to break up after one more album and tour. The band yielded 2 albums in 2000. Machina, or The Machines of God, and the freely distributed Machina 2 / The Friends and Enemies of Modern Music before performing a farewell show in Chicago on December 2000. Chamberlin went on to form Zwan in 2001 with Corgan, although Chamberlin predicted that the band's going to be huge. Zwan produced only 1 album, Mary Star of the Sea, before disbanding in 2003. Chamberlin formed his next project, Jimmy Chamberlin Complex, in 2004, and released its first studio album, Life Begins Again, in 2005. Chamberlin stated that with the Jimmy Chamberlin Complex, "I just wanted to make music and not really be constrained to making a Zwan or a Pumpkins record." On April 2016, the Jimmy Chamberlin Complex released a new song, Paranoia, via Jimmy Chamberlin's official Twitter account. While giving drum clinics in late 2009, Chamberlin announced his next project, a band called This. Describing the music as progressive symphonic pop, he reported that the band, also including multi-instrumentalists Mike Reyna and guitarist Anthony Pirog, would record with Roy Thomas Baker in Washington in early 2010. This released their first album, a 6-track release titled Great Civilizations, on November 2010, as a digital download only, on both Amazon and iTunes. No official release announcement was made even on the band's official website. Downloads from iTunes and Amazon were removed after there was confusion over the band's name. In March 2011, it was announced that the Skysaw full-length LP would be released on Dangerbird Records. On June 2011, the new extended 10-song LP, Great Civilizations, was released. The band subsequently toured with label mates Minus the Bear, performed hometown shows at Chicago's Metro and the Black Cat in Washington, and performed on the JBTV television show in Chicago. Billy Corgan announced at an April 2004 solo performance that he and Chamberlin intended to work together again in the future. After appearing on Life Begins Again, Corgan announced plans to renew and revive the Pumpkins through a full-page advertisement in his hometown's newspaper, the Chicago Tribune, on June 2005. Chamberlin contacted Corgan to accept, and on February 2006, MTV reported that he and Corgan had signed a new management deal with the Frontline Management, with a spokesperson confirming they had signed under the name Smashing Pumpkins. Chamberlin and Corgan, without the other original members, decided to record an album alone. They played their first show in Paris on May 2007 with 3 new band members. On July, the new album Zeitgeist was released. Over the next year and a half, the band released more recordings and toured extensively.